I want to make it a very important point here because I know how obsessive rumination works. You know, we're all looking for sort of fire extinguishers, as if we were on fire or the house was on fire, and we're looking for something. There's got to be something I can grab. Is it CBT? Is it a supplement? Is it a type of taper? Is it a diet? Is it, you know, there's 1,000 things, right, that we're looking for. Infusions and functional medicine and religion and meditation, you know, you name it. Is it brain rewiring? What is it? What is the fire extinguisher? What can I grab and boom, put out that fire? And unfortunately, I'm here to tell you good and bad news. And first, I guess sort of the bad news, which you probably already know, there are no fire extinguishers, guys. There are really no things. Now that I say that, now I want to clarify, there are for certain people, right? There, you know, you might even go, no, for me, when I do this one thing, it helps immensely, right? So it's possible. But I'm saying, in general, for most of us, there is nothing that's just going to shut it off, right? Not entirely anyway, not permanently anyway. There are no fire extinguisher, guys, but there is a way to slowly dampen things, to slowly saturate things with a certain level of humidity that would make it less flammable, right? And that's how you should look at Benzo Recovery. Not that you're going to find this magical thing that's just going to turn it all off, but that through a collective series of practices, skill sets, recovery checklists, you know, program stuff, as I often teach, or as I teach, not often, I teach daily. So yeah, let's talk about that. From my perspective, I believe in, you know, putting together a recovery program based on multiple things. I think recovery is a lifestyle change. I think it encompasses diet and nutrition and well-being and spirituality and exposure and exercise and just a dozen things, easily 24 things perhaps. And of course there's nuances in all of that, and many of those things we have to look at as a skill set and not just a technique or a process, right? And those things combined will be very helpful. So someone might say to me, you know, Coach Powers, how do I bring down the anxiety? I go, well, and I wish I had a technique. I wish I could say, okay, I want you to stand on one leg, pat your head and rub your belly and go, do that for 30 seconds. Oh God, Coach, it worked. Actually, if you do that, it probably will work to some level, right? Maybe on the absurdity level, but and because it would make you focus away from the anxiety for a moment. And sometimes that's all you need. Many times that's all you need, is to sort of get out of the loop of anxiety. You know, when you know, I think it all starts with psychoeducation. It really does. And so in many ways, I consider myself not just a coach or a counselor or a therapist, but a professor. And I'm trying to educate everybody so they understand the mechanisms, because I believe we are all intelligent enough that if we see the pieces before us and we know how they work, we can put them together. We can make it work. And so psychoeducation is a big piece of that, right? It's this understanding, like, for one, anxiety is a very self-fueling, self-escalating situation. It's not just, you know, the benzos comes in, boom. I say 1 to 10, automatically launches at a 6. But then our amygdala, our anxiety, our interpretations, and a host of other things keep it going. Because benzos can come down. How many of you right now listening to this find it easier in the evening? You say, you know, oh God, mornings are horrible. And, you know, I get through the day and by the evening, things get a lot better. Some of us, I've heard many times say, you know, the evenings, I almost feel normal at times. And to that, I say, well, think about that. If you had high blood pressure, if you had heart problem, if you had kidney problems, if you had, you know, a real traumatic brain injury, do you think that would happen? Do you think that, like, you know, if you had kidney problems, let's say, or high blood sugar, and you had, you know, you were diabetic, do you think that just by the evening your diabetes just lulls down and you're normal? Doesn't happen, right? Doesn't happen with heart problems. It doesn't happen if you fell off a motorcycle and hit your head on the concrete and had a traumatic brain injury. They don't go in the evening and say, wow, you know, in the evening his brain's pretty much normal, but in the morning it's damn sure injured. Doesn't work like that. Well, why doesn't it work like that with benzos? Not for everyone. Now, some people it does, and those people, I would say, there's a much more better argument that they're going through a higher level of chemical injury that they're still healing from. But for a lot of us, it's a matter of some chemistry, well, lots of chemistry, don't get me wrong. Like I say, chemicals are always the huge basis of all of this. But then our mind's ability to go running, to amplify it, to circulate it, to keep it worked up. It's like a person that gets angry and just keeps talking about it. 5 hours later, they're still angry, and you're going, why are you still angry? It happened 5 hours ago. Maybe they're even more angry 5 hours later, the next day. They just won't let it go. They're engaging it. They're anger, like fear, is very compulsory. It's very addictive. You can get addicted to fear. You can get addicted to anger, right? So as we slowly learn how to disengage from that, we can bring on those better moments earlier into our day. Dare I say, you'll have mornings you wake up and you almost feel normal, right? And you start to realize, wait a minute, there's more going on here than just the chemical. My brain, my amygdala, my thoughts, my feeling fear is really creating a whole secondary wave of suffering for me. My interpretations, my anticipations, my worries of what's going to come and if they will come and what will happen when I'm off and what will happen if I develop this. Like, these are the things that plague you. It's the worry of what could happen. What if the bear comes, damn it? That's where we are. So what I'm saying is that through a series of exercises, maybe it's relaxation, it's mindfulness, maybe it's therapy, maybe it's some gradual exercise and dietary changes and learning to love more and love yourself and lean on love and spirituality and a host of things for you therapeutically, neuroplasticity building, learning to create healthier pathways in your brain, learning how to disengage from unhealthy pathways. Together, those things will create a kind of humidity, a kind of dampening of the house and the body that will make you less flammable. But there are no fire extinguishers that I know of. Hey everyone, I'm Coach Powers and I'm excited to announce the launch of my new online Benzo Recovery School. The school launched with Module 1 and will have a total of 4 modules, each module with a dozen or more video lessons. Here are some contents in Module 1. This creates the basis for my recovery program. If you know anything about my approach to benzo recovery, you know I'm a bit different than other benzo coaches in that I do not subscribe to the lay and pray model of recovery. Instead, I believe benzo injury is a kind of neurological injury that requires neurological rehabilitation. This neurological rehabilitation encompasses learning how to access our good chemistry while also reducing the so-called bad chemistry, cortisol and adrenaline, and also learning how to lull down our hypervigilant limbic system. This includes learning techniques in CBT, DBT, mindfulness therapy, and neuroplasticity building. Now, I've studied clinical psychology for the last 15 years of my life, and my benzo recovery program encompasses the same things that I use to make my own recovery after a 10-year, 40 milligram Valium dependence. My recovery program observes 4 stages of recovery with 3 tiers of development. In fact, my stages are all focused on development. This makes them different than the 3 obvious stages of recovery, which include the pre-taper, the taper, and post-taper. Instead, my stages serve as a kind of developmental roadmap, with each stage serving as a bridge to the following stage. These 4 stages include Stage 1, restoring hope, Stage 2, the new beginning, Stage 3, the montage, and Stage 4, coming home. Perhaps most importantly, each stage has 3 key learning goals and also 3 key roadblocks. These stages revealed themselves to me after years of working with literally thousands of people from all around the world. After enough experience, you begin to see patterns and trends, and you see where people triumph and what roadblocks can prevent them from moving forward. Now remember, just because you may have come off your benzo doesn't mean you automatically reach Stage 4, the final stage. Again, these are developmental stages, which is why someone can come off of their benzo and still be stuck in their recovery. In fact, it's entirely possible to come off of your benzo and be stuck in Stage 1. Here are some other features the online Benzo Recovery School offers. Aside from being a school, it's also a positive focused support group. And believe me when I tell you, my students are a different breed of benzo warriors. They are wise, they are driven, and they understand the mission. I, Coach Powers, will also be doing live video Q&A weekly in the community, talking, teaching, and answering questions from all of you. There will be downloadable resources such as a rumination and exposure therapy log, templates for checklists, and much more. Additionally, there will be new Benzo sleep affirmation videos exclusive for the school, as well as new and early original content. There will be a regular Benzo blog, Benzo-related news, and even a private early screening for my Benzo Recovery feature film, Lake of Fire. All of this and only for a special introductory rate of $30 monthly while time lasts. So come join the positive community and let's work together on facilitating our recovery. See you there.